Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to today's masterclass event on how does a successful data scientist use ChatGPT. So for today's masterclass, we have our instructor Siddharth with us. He's a data scientist with a decade of experience, graduated from IIT Patna and worked at renowned organizations like Microsoft, Genpact, and some other industries. Currently, is leading teams at Mintra and responsible for driving data-driven strategies. So let's welcome our instructor, Siddharth. Yeah, over to you. Guys, you can ask all your doubts in the chat section. Siddharth will happily answer all your doubts. And you can also mention your questions in Q&A. Yeah, over to you, Siddharth.
Thanks for the introduction. Hey, hi everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. So, coming to the today's session, we will discuss about the ChatGPT and how we can use ChatGPT being a data scientist. Okay. The one of the reason we actually wanted to conduct this class is yeah, like if you see there is like a lot of news going on around saying that ChatGPT is there to replace data scientists, right? So while that may be true to some extent, but here we will discuss like how we can become better data scientists by using ChatGPT. The ChatGPT is not like a replacement for a person, but it's more like which enhances the productivity of the entire team, right? So here we will discuss some of the strategies like on how where ChatGPT can be used and how usually like now in data science how it has actually crept in and how it is helping data scientists to become better and better. So this is the topic of our discussion today, and with this we'll get started. And in case, yeah, like you have any doubts and all, like you can reply in the chat section or the Q&A session. Okay, cool. So let me just share the screen now. I hope you are able to see the presentation, right? Narendra, can you confirm?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the masterclass, and I'll tell you like how what would be the table of contents for this masterclass. Right? So initially we will start off with some introduction on how like what is data science and how is ChatGPT coming in data science, and then we will understand what exactly is ChatGPT. People say ChatGPT, but like people don't say ChatGPT, and there are a lot of terms like this LLMs, ChatGPT, BARD, and all these things, right? So it actually adds to a lot of confusion for someone who's not working in this domain. So we will clear those doubts. Okay. And then the next thing is we will explain how the data scientists can use ChatGPT. Okay. And why it is so important and critical for us. And then after that, like we will discuss about some of the use cases, and then what are the challenges of using ChatGPT and some real world examples as well. So this is how it is going to be. Cool. So now going ahead. Okay. So before we actually get into even ChatGPT, right, we have to understand what is data science or AI. AI and data science at this stage can be used almost interchangeably. So data science is nothing but like using the data, you actually make some data-driven decisions. That's it. Okay. So like, is it a new field? No, not really. Data science is something which has been there for ages, and probably this is one of the oldest fields because this is the nature of a human. That like once we get the data, we actually start analyzing the data, and even before we know what is data science, we have been doing it from our childhood, right? Most of the like our behaviors and traits are actually a product of the data which we have already consumed, right? But what is that which has changed so that all of a sudden in the last 10 years data science word is becoming so popular, right? So the reason is the ability to gather the data at the same place. If you see like the amount of systems in the data earlier, it used to be very, very less. Okay, and data used to evaporate wherever it is there, right? But now, especially because of the rise of the internet, IoT, and social media, right? So there is a lot of data which is actually being processed, and at the same time, which is actually being stored. If you go to the internet and if you do some some searches or some clicks and all, right, so these won't go away. This will be stayed forever for a really long time over there, on which the companies will build some data science applications and then accordingly power some of the recommendations and all, right? So that's what is data science, and that is the reason why it is becoming so popular, because the technology around has evolved to actually consume the whole data, right? So this is fun. This is data science. Now coming to, okay, what is ChatGPT? Hmm? So ChatGPT, I would say, is one of the modern inventions in the field of data science, right? So in the data science, there are a lot of things coming. Like if you see, let's suppose 15-20 years ago, right? People used to predict whether we should give the loans to someone or not, okay, based on the data. So that is also data science. And a few years ago, I think people used to predict, okay, what kind of recommendation should I show to the user? Like for example, if you go to like Google search, right, when you type something, there will be some link recommendations which will be shown. So that is also powered by data science. So like that, there has been several inventions within the data science, and ChatGPT currently is one of the breakthrough invention in the field of in the area of data science, right? And the reason is it is a conversational AI. By conversational AI, what I meant to say is, if you say, let's suppose, let's take Google, okay? It is something, if you type something, it has a lot of intelligence, but what it does is it actually tries to use all the intelligence and then recommend what exactly you want, okay? You type something, it will give you that particular link. Okay? That's how Google is. But the difference with ChatGPT is it actually can converse. Okay, and this is also not a new thing. If you earlier also, if you see, there were this Google, what is it like? Yeah, okay, Google, and at the same time, Google Assistant and Siri, which were also conversational AI. Okay, but then what happened is ChatGPT is one model which where the accuracy went leaps and bounds. Okay, it is the similar model, I would say, like any Siri or Google Assistant, but the accuracy was so good that it actually became the differentiator, and it can be used anywhere and everywhere, right? So that's about ChatGPT. Okay, and now coming to what exactly is ChatGPT. Right. So it is, first of all, it is a model. And if you take data science, right, anything and everything, we call it as a model. Okay. So that is what is the ChatGPT as well. Okay. But the thing is, it has been trained on vast amount of data. Almost like all the data which you see on the internet, right? It is actually being trained upon. Okay. Due to which, what happens is it actually has like a very good understanding of the language. It knows how the websites were written, how the code is written, and like what the user wants and what we should do to make the user happy. So everything it knows, because the first thing is it has actually access to the entire data, okay, vast amount of data. That's one thing. And then the second thing is the data itself is not enough. The algorithm should be quite strong enough so that the application becomes very intelligent. Right. So here ChatGPT uses like transformer architecture. So yeah, most of the people might not be knowing what a transformer is. So transformer is one of the breakthroughs in the field of language. And I think it was invented like 15 years ago. So ChatGPT is actually an extension of some of the transformer architecture itself. Okay, and it is built in such a way that it is ideal for post processing and pre processing of text. Right? So before I dig into further, right? So I'll have to tell some basics of what a transformer architecture is. Right? So and now before understanding what a transformer architecture is, I want to explain what a neural network is. Right. So neural network is an algorithm which has been inspired by the human brains. If you see human brains, right? So first you actually look at some, let's suppose visual intake, right? You look through your eyes. Okay, then the eyes actually capture that snapshot, whichever is there in front, and then it actually sends to the brain. So then what happens is it actually like the eye has some touch with some particular neurons. So the information is passed to that particular neurons, right? And then those neurons transfer the information to another set of neurons. Okay, and then even like then the information travels through multiple paths, and at every path there will be some kind of information, some kind of processing which happens on the data, and eventually what happens is at the core of the brain it actually reaches, and then it actually tells, okay, let's suppose in front of you there is a car coming, so you have to kind of step aside. So that is something like which happens at the end, right? So but before that there are like multiple layers of intelligence it passes through, and that exactly is what is neural network, right? And transformer is a small modification on top of the neural network to make it more and more intelligent, right? If you see even the brains, right, like almost like every creature's brain is made up of the same neurons, like a crow or a dog or a human, but human minds are structured in such a way that they are able to process more data. So similarly transformer is one of the breakthrough inventions in neural networks, right? And coming to what actually ChatGPT can do for us, right? So the first thing is it actually can be quite we can fine tune it for specific industries as well. By fine tuning, what I meant to say is if there is a ChatGPT website, right, people can go and do anything over there. Okay, but like it will be like a very generic thing. So then what we can do is just imagine ChatGPT as a very intelligent person. Okay, so the intelligent person, let's suppose if they are present in their own house, so you go and ask the questions, right? So then what happens is they will reply in a very generic sense. Then the next thing what you can do is, let's suppose you own a company. If you ask that person to come and sit in your company for a while, like, and if they work in your company for a month or so, after 1 month they will be able to like give very specific instructions as well. Okay, so in a way their intelligence has been fine tuned for your industry for your purpose. So the same thing even the chat gpt can do, right? So that is known as a fine tuning. This is a very important word, and this can be the future of the data science as well, right? And coming to what are the usual capabilities of ChatGPT, it is like it generates text, and then like it actually completes the text. Like if you don't know what to like how to complete, right? You can just write like once upon a time, and it will complete the story, whichever it feels that it is correct. Okay, and then question answering. You can ask any question to it, and it will be able to answer it. Okay, and then the next thing is the summarization. Okay, like for example, you can ask ChatGPT to read a complete textbook and then summarize in a page or two, right? So that is something which is it is quite good at. Okay. And then for data scientists also, like if you see, these are most of the areas on which data scientists work upon, and that's the reason we can use ChatGPT to offer like unlimited number of applications, and it can be like a driving force for in most of the cases, right? Okay, so moving ahead. Hmm. Second, let me just take a. Um, okay, there are some questions. What is the future scope of data science? What is staff data scientist? So, can you tell me how to complete the code? Okay. So, completing the code, yeah, I'll explain you. I'll answer all those questions like during the flow of the session. Okay. So, how many of you have heard of this term called LLMs? I need a raise of hands, or maybe in the chat you can message. Yeah, only two people have raised their hands. Yes, yes. So yeah, I can see that there are like good number of people who actually have raised their hands, which means that the word LLM also is becoming quite famous, right? So here, if you see, LLM stands for large language models, right? And people have been working on LLMs for a really, really long time. Yeah. So LLMs, I would say, is an architecture developed on top of transformers. Okay, and ChatGPT is a very advanced LLM, is what you can say, okay? Because it is also a large language model, and at the same time which can also converse. So that is it's an advanced LLM, is what you can say. And now there are a lot of LLMs coming, like for example Hugging Face has a one LLM, Facebook has one LLM called Llama, and then there is another LLM by Google called Bart and all. But somehow the ChatGPT is an LLM by OpenAI, or through, or with the collaboration of Microsoft, and it is something which has becoming quite famous now. Okay, so now let's dig little bit into the LLMs. Okay, so LLMs, as I said, these are some architectures built on top of transformer, right? And then if you see on the left hand side, right, there is something known as base LLMs, which have been famous for a long time, right? So what this usually do is these actually predict the next word based on the based on the training data. I'll tell you what the training data is. Okay, so next word, what happens is if you type once upon a time, there is a unicorn. Okay, this is a question. This is directly something which I have taken from the deep learning website itself. Who is one of the core member of the OpenAI, which has developed ChatGPT, right? So, so let's assume that coming back to this example, let's assume that you have typed this. Once upon a time, there was a unicorn, right? So then it will try to complete the story. Once upon a time, there was a unicorn that lived in a magical forest, all with all her unicorn friends, right? So this is quite good, and this is something which a base LLM is capable of. Right. But the limitations are that it is trained only for the next word or the next sentence. So let's assume that if you if someone types what is the capital of France, right? So it should actually give Paris, but somehow it doesn't give Paris, because what happens is it has been trained on the web, like on lot of text or the website related data. And usually what happens is, like in the websites, people write, okay, what is the capital of there will be multiple questions. What is the capital of France? What is the France largest city? What is France's population? These are some related questions which will be there. So it will think that, okay, if someone asks me what is the capital of France, maybe I have to tell, I have to ask these questions back, right? Because its intelligence is restricted to the next word itself, right? So that is what a base LLM is. And now coming to what an advanced LLM is, or maybe you can think of it this way, like it is instruction tuned LLM, right? So here what it does is, you on top of base LLM, if you see, there is something known as RLHF, okay, which means reinforcement learning with human feedback. Okay, I'll explain you what exactly it is. So this is one component you actually squeeze in the base LLM, right? Then it becomes an instruction tuned LLM, right? So here, this is a game changer, because when you make it instruction tuned LLM, it actually can take your instructions and then give you back the responses, and at the same time, it will learn everything on its own, right? And at the same time, there are some adjectives using which these can be trained. Like for example, we should make it like helpful, which means its intention should always be to help the person like who's querying them, and it should be honest. Like whatever information is there, like it shouldn't try to manipulate the information. And then the third thing is, it should be harmless, which means there are some harmless levels also. If someone asks like, okay, how do I kill another person, right? It shouldn't give that information. So these are the three adjectives which are actually some of the guiding principles before starting any LLM, right? So that's how the instruction tuned LLMs are trained. Okay? And if I actually told that I'll come back to this RLHF, right? So RL, which is reinforcement learning. Mhm. So I'll have to tell what is reinforcement learning. Mhm. So there are three types of learning you can say. Okay. One is supervised learning, and the other one is unsupervised learning, and the third one is the reinforcement learning. Right? I'll tell you what a supervised learning is. Okay. So in supervised learning, what happens is you go to a school and then they show the app, like the picture of an apple, and then say this is apple, and then they show B, and then say this is bat, and then C for cat, right? So this is called supervised learning, because before you actually apply your own intelligence itself, you are actually told this, like this is apple, and this is ball, and this is bat, right? So that so then you actually start learning in your school, right? So that is known as a supervised learning, because you can think of it this way: there is a person like who is supervising you also, right? So now the same is applicable even in the data science. Next, coming to unsupervised learning. So in the unsupervised learning, what happens is, like let's suppose there are like multiple cars going on. Okay, so no one around you knows about cars, or no one tells you. But when you observe the car, you will see. Okay, usually on the road, I'm able to see three types of cars. One is like a hatchback, which means it is short and it has no boot space. And then the other one is sedan. And the third one is SUV. You don't even know their names. You can tell that there are three types of cars, and the three are like, one car shape is this way, and the other car shape is this way, and the third one looks big and all. So you tell that, but you don't even know. No one actually told you. No one supervised you. But just by looking at it, you actually like learned on your own. This is called like unsupervised learning. Okay. And then the third and the most important thing, which is becoming very famous, is the reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is something like, let's suppose you go to a different place altogether, all right, and where they speak a different language. So what happens is you go there, and then you try to learn the language, start learning the language, okay, by watching some movies or some, or to going some classes. But at the same time, like what there are two types of learnings, I would say. One is, okay, you read some book and then say, okay, this is the word to word mapping. And the second one is, let's assume that you listen to radio every day. So you actually understand, okay, what the person is selling, and then try to relate, and then try to see what it is. Okay. So here in the reinforcement learning, what happens is there can be some errors also which you make. Like for example, like, when someone says that, okay, you are a great person, right? So or let's assume if someone says that you are a bad person. Okay. So then, we might think that, okay, if someone is telling you are a bad person, and if you don't know English, maybe it may say that they are complimenting me, and you actually go to some other folks and then say, okay, you're a bad person, right? So that then it's like you might get like a negative reward. Okay. And then you understand, okay, bad probably relates to something which is not so good. Okay. So that's how you start learning, because like you actually think that is something, and then you attempt it, and then you either pass or you fail, and then the reward comes back to your mind, and then you again say what is correct and what is wrong. Okay. So that is known as the reinforcement learning. And if you see, HF is another word which I've added, with human feedback. If I tell about reinforcement learning, right, it usually takes a lot of time, and then there can be some errors also. So here what we do is, in ChatGPT they have introduced some human also in between, saying that the ChatGPT, like before releasing the ChatGPT, they build a base LLM, they introduce reinforcement learning, and then they introduce a human feedback also, which means that there'll be human, like there'll be a lot of employees, who will be hired, who will say, okay, this is correct and this is not correct also in between. So due to which it actually, like they won't, like ChatGPT operates on almost like an infinite corpus. These people give some, let's suppose, some 1 lakh or 2 lakh examples. So using that, it will try to learn the other aspects as well. So this is called reinforcement learning with human feedback. And this is how most of the conversational LLMs are fine-tuned. Yeah. Yeah, let me just, before going back. Okay, people have asked some question on, can you explain reinforcement learning again? Yeah, definitely. Actually, yeah, good that you asked it. So reinforcement learning is one of the three types of learnings. Okay. So what are the three types of learning? Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and then comes the reinforcement learning. Right. So unsupervised learning is what? There is someone to supervise. You tell beforehand itself this. Okay. Then you learn. That is called unsupervised learning. Okay, and unsupervised learning is you actually throw away the complete data. You just like see what the data is and all, and then you come to your own conclusions. And there the learning ends. So these two are like a single shot, which means the like whatever learning is there right now, that is there. Okay. And unless the extra data comes, like there won't be any extra data, extra learning. Okay. Can reinforcement learning is nothing but like you actually attempt. Okay. First, what happens? Like let's assume there is a small baby. Okay. So what happens is the small like when there is a water, right? So then like the small like hot water, the small baby will go and test the water. Okay. Then the baby will realize, okay, it's a hot water, and then the baby will get all the burns and all, and then the baby will be very careful. Okay, whenever there is a water also, the baby might not even touch the water. Then slowly what happens is like one day like unexpectedly the baby might touch some cold water. Okay. Then the baby will understand that okay, not all water is hot. Then the baby will be less cautious. The baby will think that okay, maybe not all waters are bad. Some waters are hot and some waters are cold. Then the baby will try to like test some normal waters and all, and then eventually after 1 2 years, the baby will come to a conclusion saying that okay, if I see some vapor coming out of the water, right, that means it's a hot water and I shouldn't touch it. Right? So no one has told the baby, right? But the baby has learned. Okay? So that is what is called the reinforcement learning. Okay, and let me just okay before going somewhere, what is semi-supervised learning, sir? Okay, so semi-supervised learning, I don't want to get into it now because that's a very advanced concept which actually was developed recently. Okay, so it's more like a combination of some supervision and unsupervised learning, which I think has been becoming famous over the last 5 6 years itself. Okay, but yeah, right now it is still not in the production or not widely accepted in the industry. So it is more like a still like a uh, what I would say, mm, still like a theoretical or a textbook concept. Okay. Cool. Then coming to sir, but isn't this unsupervised learning? No, this is not unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is like your learning ends immediately. You just try to draw your own conclusion. But in the reinforcement learning, there will be some set of conclusions, and there will be some set of what rewards also, saying that like whether you answered it right or you answered it wrong. In this case, in the baby example, it's more like okay, is the water will the water damage me or not, right? But in the unsupervised learning, there is no such thing. You see the cars and then you say, okay, this is small car, big car, and large car. That's it. Okay, cool. Okay, so now moving ahead. So why data scientists need ChatGPT, right? So in today's world, right, the role of data has informed has increased like anything. If you observe almost like 20 30 years ago, there still used to be a lot of companies, but the decisions used to be like a more like a leadership driven decisions, which means that okay, there will be some person sitting on the top. They will actually think for a moment and then say there's a right direction or there's a wrong direction. That is how the decisions usually are taken. But now it the wave have shifted towards the data. Okay, so people have realized that there is no person intelligent enough to actually make critical decisions without the support of the data, which means that even if there is like a team of scholars sitting over there, right, but all they see is the data coming out of the system, and then they analyze the data, and then they come to the conclusion, which means that the world is moving towards a data driven culture, right? So that's the reason the role of the data scientist actually is improving. And with the role of the data scientist, right, the complexity of the data, the volume of the data, and the techniques are actually increasing like anything. And to an extent that the number of the world is not able to supply enough data scientists. There is a lot of work, but even if you had a lot of data scientists, people won't be able to do the work, right? So now that's the reason comes this ChatGPT, right? So, ChatGPT is an AI tool which can help the data scientists to do a lot of tasks. Okay, so that they don't have to do everything from the scratch, right? So that is how it happens. And I'll just tell you one example, right? So if you have to go from office to home, right? So earlier, like maybe few decades ago, right? People used to mostly go by walk, right? So and then after a certain after 5 6 years, like right, people started going to office, let's suppose, mostly on bikes. And okay, so if you actually go on a bike, it actually provides you like multiple what I would say advantages. Even if you're far away, you still can reach the office in time. And the second thing is, it increases your time also. Like instead of spending a lot of time on in the traffic, you will be able to reach the office quickly compared to walking and going. So similarly, yeah, there are some advantages. And then later, some people started adopting car also. Car gives you like another advantage. Like for example, you go peacefully, and you won't get the, what I would say, like sweat and everything. So and the drive also will be lot more smoother, right? So this how what the transport has evolved, right? So similarly, like if you ask, like, can did people stop working on data science when there is no chat gpt? No, people were working on data science, but the thing is, it used to take a lot of time. It's almost like, imagine that you're taking like a cycle and then going from point A to point B. Okay. And this ChatGPT is more like an aeroplane, I would say. Okay? So if you have to go from Hyderabad to, let's suppose, Bangalore, instead of like going on a bike, it's better that you can travel via flight, right? So that's what ChatGPT exactly is, right? So yeah. So moving ahead, like I'll quickly explain you some of the use cases of ChatGPT. The first thing is analyzing the complex data sets, right? So what happens is, like the role of a data scientist, like there are a lot of algorithms which people apply, but at the same time, there are a lot of data with which the data scientists have to deal with, right? They have to write the code to get the insights from the data. They have to like see like what kind of insights to get, and then they have to do the plots and the stats and everything on the data. Okay, so this is one of the most time consuming activities for a data scientist. It almost used to take away like 80% of the work, like of the bandwidth available, right? So now, when you introduce ChatGPT, it actually can do something like which a person, like in 1 hour, what a person will take like 10 15 hours, right? So this is where ChatGPT has been very, very helpful. First thing is, you can ask ChatGPT to give the insights on on your data, and it will be able to give you the insights. Okay, it will tell, okay, this how the like this is what is happening towards the data. Maybe if you move this, this will happen, and all the insights that data on the data, it will try to give. Okay, and then the second thing is formulating the queries. Like for example, like there is this SQL language which is used a lot by the data scientists and the data analysts also to get the data. But learning SQL and forming the queries will take certain amount of time, right? But you can ask ChatGPT, okay, saying that, okay, this is the data I have. Just write, just show me the code. Okay, I'll just tell you, maybe one. I'll show you one example also. Maybe if you see over here, all right? Yeah. If you see over here, yeah, I have asked this simple question, like a normal human. If there is a customer table with columns so and all, give me the SQL query which is join both the tables, right? So then it actually gave me the code, and all I just have to write is just copy the code and then paste it over there, right? So just imagine, like, to write this code, right? It requires like a good amount of learning. You should understand what is select. You should understand what is from. You should understand like what is the name of the table, join and all. This is something which which is not so easy. But if you see what I have given, this is something which anyone can type, right? So just imagine how much of time it actually saved me. No? You get it, right? So this is another thing, which is like the formulating the queries. Okay? And the next comes the plotting and the statistics of the data, because plotting is like a very not a peaceful task to do. It takes like good amount of time and all. So now, like, the ChatGPT can generate the plots, and then it also can interpret some of the statistics in the graphs. Okay, so this is what the advantage of ChatGPT is. So now, moving ahead, yeah, natural language querying on the data set. Yeah, as I said earlier, um, you also can write the questions. Okay, you actually can ask the ChatGPT to do some role play. Like for example, you will tell ChatGPT, okay, now assume that you are a data scientist. Okay, and now tell me what you will do if you are a data scientist. Then it will tell you, okay, this is how I would act and everything. Right. So these are some ways in which you can use ChatGPT for your day-to-day activities. Right. And then, yeah, coming to the other use case, which is the data generation and augmentation. So this, I'll tell you, the data, if you see, right, that is the core of any ML application. Okay, let's assume that you want to build like a very small ML application. Okay. Just imagine this way, like you want to predict what are the prices of the houses based on the data. Someone will tell which area the house is there located, and what is the square feet of the house, and what is the builder name and all that stuff, and you should be able to predict what will be the price of the house, right? So the thing is, you as a human, what you will do, you will scout the complete city. Like let's assume if it is Bangalore, then you will see, okay, this area, these are the prices, and if this is the size of the house, then this is the price and all that stuff, right? So now what you can do is you can actually ask the ChatGPT to generate all the data. What are the houses data, and then you can actually build your own simple model, saying that, okay, this is the data given by ChatGPT, just learn on your own. Okay, what exactly ChatGPT can do. Okay? So sorry, one second, there is some blur. Yeah. So, as I said, this, you can actually ask the ChatGPT to give you the data on which you can learn also. So this is one of the strongest replication. But here I'll have to tell you one more thing is, it is not legal to use it like as per your wish, the data, because it's a powerful thing. So if you're working in an organization, then I think it's very important that you consult your legal team, and then maybe you might have to get some sign offs from the ChatGPT teams and all also, so that you can start using this data. So this is how, yeah, this is how it is. And now moving ahead, let me just take a quick stock of the questions. Can we train the ChatGPT according to our requirement? That's one question. And then, okay. So can I use ChatGPT to train my own application? Yes, definitely. The thing is, ChatGPT already has a lot of what I would say, intelligence. So what you need to do is you just have to fine tune with some of the data which you have in your own industry. You can just think of it this way: if there is a if there is a normal college graduate, right? So he by the time he graduates from the college, he will be totally trained, by the school, by the colleges and everywhere, right? So, but still, after graduating from the college, you actually fine tune that person according to the industry. Once you recruit them, you actually fine tune, right? Then, after 6 7 months, the person will act according to the industry, right? So that is something which you can do. ChatGPT is, you can just think of it like a very intelligent fresher coming out of a college. You can use it to tune your own applications also, right? So yeah, and coming to the other question, which is what is data augmentation? How many? Okay. Okay. So the first question is what is data augmentation? By data augmentation, yeah, for data by data augmentation, what I meant is already you have some data, but still and you have to build some small model on top of the data, right? So let's suppose if you have some data of 10 MB, right? You can ask ChatGPT to generate similar data of 100 MB, which can be used to train your own models. So that is what is called data augmentation. So, and then coming to the next question, is it safe to use ChatGPT? See, it depends on the use case. There is no specific, there is no direct answer which I can give. So that's the reason, like, if you are working in some organization, you have to definitely contact the legal teams and then see for that particular application it is safe or not. Okay. And then the next question is in simple language, ChatGPT is also a search engine like Google? No, not really, because like as I said, ChatGPT is more like a conversing thing. It can help you with anything. Okay, so search engine is like a very small component of ChatGPT, I would say. ChatGPT can be used in doing like 100 other things. What a search engine can do. Okay, so that's how it is. And now, yeah, coming to the other applications, like one very famous application which I want to discuss is the custom chat application, right? The reason being, if you see any company earlier, not many companies used to have this chat box. Or else, even if they had also, it used to be very annoying. Okay, it used to be just rule driven, like it asks you to click and do all the things, but it is very annoying. Or else, like there will be some human sitting behind the chatbot, which is still fine, right? So now the thing is, if you see in the last 6 to 7 months, like n number of companies launched their own chatbots. Okay. Why is it? Because of ChatGPT. To develop a chatbot without the help of ChatGPT, right? It will take, let's suppose, like 3 4 years maybe to develop like a very good chatbot. A team of like intelligent folks sitting. Okay. But what happens is, like if you use ChatGPT as the backend support, right, then within few months you can roll out like a very good chat application, decent chat application, and it can be used in like multiple cases. Like for example, for e-commerce, I gave you an example, right? So people, like, let's suppose if you're going for some trip, right? So one thing is you can actually Google, do the search, and then see what all items are required for that particular trip, or talk to some other people, and then you actually come and type in, let's say, in the e-commerce website, saying that, okay, I need a sunscreen, I need let's suppose a goggles and all, right? But here, using the custom chat application, you can directly go to the e-commerce website and then type, I'm going to a Dubai trip, what should I buy? And if it is powered by LLMs, okay, its own custom LLM, or maybe ChatGPT or Bard, etc., right? So it will be able to give you the response in this particular fashion, saying that it will understand what is Dubai, it will understand that like your preferences also, and then it will be able to give you the recommendation. Like first, in case if you see over here, right, it has said since you have dry skin, these sunscreens are important. So first thing over here is it understood that Dubai is a hot place and people need sunscreen. And the other level of intelligence is it actually based on your past purchases, it also understood that you particularly have dry skin, and then it prescribed these sunscreens. Right. So there is like a two level of intelligence if you see. And then the next thing is it actually showed that there will be hot weather and you actually might need goggles. Okay, so that is one level of intelligence. But the other level is it also related, saying that you already purchased some jeans earlier, and these are the goggles which will go along with that particular jeans. Right. So it actually did like a mix and match, which is very very important. Right. And then the third thing is it actually like understood that you probably like this shirts, especially over t-shirts, and then it prescribed the light color shirts, right, which go well with your preferences. So this is the level of intelligence for a ChatGPT. Yeah, yeah. So now coming to yeah, before going on to the next slide, let me just take a quick stock of the question. How can we upload CSV file into ChatGPT? So it is so Sonali, you have asked this question. So it is not an easy thing to upload CSV into ChatGPT. It requires some API access and also I don't want to get into it now, but yeah, it is not something which can be done so in an obvious manner. Okay. So, and then the second thing is chatbots were developed on top of ChatGPT source code. Yes, not necessarily all chatbots, but chatbots can be developed on top of ChatGPT. Okay, which means like you actually can query ChatGPT and then say that, okay, I want to build a chatbot, and it will help you build a chatbot. That is one way, but you can do it like there are and other ways as well. Cool. Okay, so now moving ahead. Yeah. So the AI powered user understanding, right? So let's assume in if it is a traditional system, right? So if you type, let's suppose, ladies handbag, right? So like the search system won't be able to understand what is ladies handbag, and it will say that, okay, I don't know, and sorry, we don't have enough results. Maybe the user is typing something which I don't know. But if you see, like, that will create a negative customer experience, right? So the next thing is, let's assume the AI powered understanding, right? So here what happens is someone types ladies handbag, and then the system understands that instead of ladies, the person must have unexpectedly typed ladies. Okay? Then it actually understands the user, and then it will try to prescribe the handbags to them, the ladies handbags to them, okay? Which will give like a very positive customer experience, right? So these are all like the AI powered understanding, and these can be done using ChatGPT as well, because you can actually plug in all these queries to the ChatGPT and then ask for the right spellings, right? It will try to give, and then it doesn't stop there. You actually can go one level deeper also. Like for example, if someone types like ladies jeans, right? So the AI understands that no one actually types ladies jeans. People mostly type like women jeans, right? So if they have typed ladies jeans, which most likely means they must have they probably wanted Levi's jeans and they must have typed ladies jeans, right? Then it will prescribe the Levi's jeans. So that is how the AI systems function, right? So now, moving ahead, okay, coming to what are the benefits of using ChatGPT, right? So one of the key benefit is the improved productivity. As I said earlier, maybe you can put in like hundred hours of work and then do something. But if you are using ChatGPT, it actually reduces to, let's suppose, like 10-15 hours also. Not all tasks, but there are some tasks for which ChatGPT can extremely make you productive. Okay, so, so that's one thing. Okay. And then coming to the second thing, the time and the cost savings. As I said, like this is a place where yeah, the data scientists can benefit highly, because most of the routine and the mundane work which they do, right, they can actually give it to ChatGPT, which will reduce the time and also the infra costs and everything. And then people can like work on some better activities. Like for example, like they can learn a different type of algorithms, or maybe they can simply enjoy during the time, right? So that's how people like the data scientists should use ChatGPT. And then like of course the enhanced data insights. See, data insights, it's a more like a creative field than a logical field. Like the reason why I said creative is it depends. Like for example, if you give the same data to some user, right, like some data analyst, they might come up with some insights, and then the other analyst, they might come up with some different insights also, not contradictory but different insights. Because what happens is, like you can like get anything from the data, because data is abundant, right? But the thing is, so there is always some analysis which you might miss out also, right? So that is the reason, if let's suppose if you start using ChatGPT, it will probably help you cover the comprehensive list of all the insights which are there, right? So that's how the enhanced data data insights is, right? So now, moving on to the challenges. So far, one thing is, like, we have actually discussed about like what are the advantages and the benefits, right? But now let's discuss about some challenges as well. Okay. So the first thing is the data privacy and the security concerns. So like whatever data you upload to the ChatGPT, it actually stores the data. So it is very important that you don't expose confidential information, especially if you're working for some organization, right? And there are some customers' data. So you have to ensure that the data is not uploaded to the ChatGPT, because it actually can be like a threat to the privacy of the company, right? So you have to be very, very cautious about it. And even when you are using ChatGPT also, just ensure that you don't type in your confidential information, like for example, your bank details, your address, and all the things. Okay. So that is one of the challenge. And okay. And then coming to the model biases, right? So I'll just tell you one thing. Uh, let's assume that there is a person who is brought up in a basketball family, or probably in a like in a city which is filled with basketball players, right? So what happens is, usually most of the basketball players will be tall, like they'll be over 6 feet, right? So the person, like if they are not exposed to any other person except the basketball players, right, after few years there is chance that they might start thinking that any person would be like more than 6 feet. Okay. Like there cannot exist a human being who is less than 6 feet, because they have never seen such human beings, right? So this is called the model bias. Okay. So here what happens is, like, no matter how much care it has been taken, but these models have some inherent bias from the data on which they are trained. Right. So whenever you are using it, right, it's important that you have to see whether any such bias is affecting your use case. If it is affecting, then you will have to see how to unbias that effect also. So this is something which you have to take care of. And it so that's the reason, like, now all these things have come up. Just using ChatGPT is not sufficient. Like, you have to also understand how to use ChatGPT, right, to remove the model biases. And at the same time, like, there'll be a lot of some filters also. These are called Gen AI models, which means generative AI models, right? So, by generative AI, what I meant to say is, there is no control on what it actually gives. Okay, because it is generating the content by looking at the content. Let's suppose if this content has some inappropriate words, or some profane words, right? So there is a chance that actually it can give some profane responses also. Okay, some abuse words and all. So that's the reason it's very important that if you are using certain applications, you have to add some profanity checks as well. So there are some, like, developed profanity filters which are coming up as in different packages, but at the same time, it's very important you test it thoroughly, and at the same time apply the profane filters. This, by the way, not just applicable for ChatGPT, but any generative AI application. You have to ensure that there are some this response filtering which is done, right? And now, coming to the other thing, which is the domain specific fine tuning. So basically, sometimes what happens is, if there is an intensive task, right, then the ChatGPT has to be fine tuned. Without fine tuning, it might not be able to give the right response. Okay, so by fine tuning might require a lot of cost and time as well, because because ChatGPT is like a very huge, what I would say, like, huge system, and the way we can fine tune is through APIs itself. Okay? And hit, like, so many APIs hitting the ChatGPT and all, right. So you might have to have, like, huge infrastructure. So that is one thing which you will have to keep in mind while using before taking the decision of using ChatGPT, right? Cool. So moving ahead. Okay. So, okay. So what are the successful integration strategies? So this, like, as a beginner, you don't have to worry too much about this. But yeah, there are some things which you have to take care. Like, for example, like model selection and all, right? So in ChatGPT, there are, like, several models, like GPT 3.5, GPT 4, and at the same time, like, apart from ChatGPT, there are some other like systems like this Hugging Face and Bart and all, right? So you have to choose the right version. For that, you might have to understand a little bit, like, what version, like, what is the speciality of each version, and then accordingly you should choose. And then the second thing is data preparation and pre-processing. So, so just think of it this way. Uh, if you have to, let's suppose, eat an apple, right? So if you buy it from the supermarket, it will take 5 minutes for you to eat an apple. But let's suppose there is no concept of supermarkets or shop, right? Like, you have to go, then you have to go to the forest, you have to identify what is the apple tree, you have to, like, bring a knife, sharpen it, like, cut the fruit, and then, like, eat it, right? So this is like a huge process. So what happens is, just because of the way the supermarket is arranged, right, your time has reduced a lot. Similarly, even for ChatGPT, you can actually give the data in a much structured manner. You have to understand what ChatGPT actually wants. and what is the best performance of ChatGPT, and then you have to like give the data in that format. You don't have to like uh, do any analysis on the data. You just have to change the way the structure is. Okay, then ChatGPT reaches its optimal performance. Okay? So that is something which you need to do. And then the third thing is the post processing of the ChatGPT outputs. So like ChatGPT, as I said, is a generative AI model. It doesn't follow any guidelines to give you the responses. So whenever ChatGPT responses are given, right, you have to do apply definitely a post processing layer. Okay, you have to tell, okay, this is the structure I want. So this is the ChatGPT output. So how do I convert the ChatGPT output to this to the system like which I need, right? So that is a very important thing. And at the same, and along with the structure change, right, you also have to apply a lot of filters, like we discussed the profanity filter, the what I would say, and a lot of inappropriate words filter and all these things, right? So yeah, so there is definitely good amount of post processing which will be required on top of the ChatGPT outputs, right? Cool. So now okay, so now let's just take a quick stock on what all we have discussed. So some of the use cases are what, like the automated data analysis. Okay, so that's one thing, and then the natural language data querying. Okay, which means it will help you uh, formulate the SQL queries. It will help you like formulate the data insights and all. You just have to give what you want in a like human understood way. Okay, and then the third thing is the data augmentation, which we have discussed, right? And then the fourth thing is content generation. We might not have discussed about it specifically, but it as you know, these days most of the contents is actually being generated by ChatGPT. You can actually go to ChatGPT and tell that, okay, give me like a speech for give me some description for my website, and it will be able to generate the whole complete content. So this is where you can utilize ChatGPT. And then the customer support chatbots. This is one thing which we have discussed, right? And this is one of the main reasons why the number of chatbots are increasing day by day on the platforms. And then the collaborative data analysis, which is more or less part of the data analysis, right? Cool. Mm. Yeah, I think these are the real world applications. And let me just take a quick stock of the questions. How AI can enable to understand the wordings. Let's consider a sentence example. That I mean to say. That's it. Okay. So I'll just read out the question. How AI can enable to understand the wordings if it is wrong or right? Does it also consider the sentence? Exactly. So that's exactly what I was telling in the example of the spell check, right? If you type the sentence, if there is the word is incorrectly spelled or something, right? Then what happens is it actually sees the entire sentence and then it tries to suggest, okay, what is the correct word? So there is a complete context of the sentence. Okay. In fact, complete context of the user also. What you have done previously, then what could be the possible thing which you are searching for, right? So that intelligence is well built into this thing, into these applications. Mhm. So now, yeah, I think yeah, these are more or less the question. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think these are the questions, and then yeah, I think yeah, there are some best practices also, which you have to employ, like we discussed in the previous slide. And at the same time, like as I discussed in the first slide, right, like usually this chat applications are built in such a way that they support this, they are harmless, they're honest, and at the same time they are unbiased. But still, like you have to apply definitely some checks on top of it, and you have to be yeah, you need to understand like on how to use ChatGPT. It's not like a like an everyday thing. So it's better that you if you are able to take some course on ChatGPT also, it will help you to a great extent. Cool. Mhm. Okay, yeah, I think yeah, that's more or less from my side. So yeah, I think so this is what I wanted to cover regarding ChatGPT. Any questions and all you can ask in the chat, and yeah, uh, if you Yeah, like if you like need some like any doubts and all, also you can just like message me, um, like on my LinkedIn, and I'll be able to reply. Sorry, there was
Yeah,
some.
yeah, there are two questions in Q&A. What will be the future scope of data science? And another one is what is staff data scientist?
Okay, so future, what is the future scope of data science, right? The first question.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think data science is here to grow. You see the amount of content which is coming on the systems, right? It is growing substantially. So it is it is here to grow. Then, but at the same time, it won't be like earlier, like wherein like people develop from the scratch. People will start using these applications like ChatGPT and like many more which are coming up, and build some advanced models. The So if you see ChatGPT, right, when it first came, people were awestruck because the kind of intelligence it displayed was something which was not known to anyone till that point of time, but that will become quite common. So in the future, you will see all the platforms almost interacting like a human. If you now go and chat with a chat box, right, you easily understood that this is a machine. And when it connects to a human, you can see the difference. But this difference will slowly vanish going forward. So that's the future of data science. It will be almost as equivalent to like a person, I would say. So that's how it is. Mhm. And then the next thing is what is a staff data scientist, right? So yeah, staff data scientist is my designation. Uh, so if you see the designations will be different. Like for example, for an entry level, people call it as data scientist, and for the next once you become quite senior, in the next promotion you get senior data scientist, and then you become staff lead data scientist, and then yeah, in that path is the staff data scientist, which means that you are managing like a whole staff. Okay, not like by lead, it's more like leading projects, but staff the scope increases. Okay, it's so that's more or less my designation. Cool. Yeah, and also I'll be messaging you my LinkedIn ID in the chat. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions and all, and shoot the messages. Okay, I'll be able to help you. Okay, yeah, I think yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to cover. Let me just check if there are any other questions. So there are some questions with the course. So Narendra will be able to take those questions. Um, yeah. So, but there are some other questions like, yeah, can you tell about some of the effective prompting techniques or prompt which might help into coding to data science AI? So this is not something which can be done like using just like a like I can tell you this prompting techniques in like in 10-15 minutes. So there are some good courses on the prompt engineering, also some short courses itself. I would suggest you to take those courses. They are quite simple and will be helpful for everyone. So then you will get like a much better understanding. But yes, what you said is logical. Like person who knows how to prompt versus person who doesn't know how to prompt, the way you can use ChatGPT will be way different, I would say. So yeah, it's important that you also understand the right prompts. Cool. Yeah, and what is the future of data analyst? Mm, Data analyst, like when I said about the data, how ChatGPT can help the data analysis, right? By that I meant to say it will also help the data, it will enhance the role of a data analyst also. Uh, the thing right now, if you see the data analyst, right, there are two parts. One is the learning the language, and the other one is like getting the insights from the data in an intelligent manner, right? So the language part right now is quite important because if you don't know the language, right, you have to be on your fingers. Otherwise, you won't be able to do the things quickly. But with the ChatGPT, it will be able to support you a lot. Right now, even this GitHub Copilot and all these things are coming, right? So which will help you write the code. So it's mostly about your intelligence. Okay, like you have to, from a business perspective, you have to understand what the data we need and how the data we need and all. But rest all these applications will take care of it. So the role is going to be, but it will be like not too much language focus, I would say. Got it. Cool. Okay, then I think, yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to cover. So Narendra, I think you can take it up from here.
Yeah. Manjul, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Manjul will take over the
Okay.
session.
Maybe I'll stop sharing the screen. Uh,
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Siddharth. Like the session was wonderful and you have explained everything very clearly. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
so much, Siddharth, for taking your time out and for such an informative session. And I could see a lot of questions that are coming around the admissions part. So I will be taking the next 5 or 10 minutes and will be clarifying all those doubts that you guys have regarding the admissions. So my name is Manjul Mayank, and I'm the one who takes care of the admissions part out here at Alma Beta. So I think Siddharth very briefly explained about how data domain is growing every passing day. He also gave us a hint about how ChatGPT, which is one of the tools or one of the applications of AI, is actually being used in such a way, across a lot of companies and organizations, and most of the people are using it in their daily life as well, right? And that really means that it's still just like a very first tool, right? Uh, from AI, but still it is mighty helpful for people who just know how to give good prompts, right? But it's a very strong tool which is making life easier for people who are in this particular domain, right? Now, after going through this session from Siddharth, there is one thing which is pretty obvious, that this data domain holds a lot of opportunities for every learner, whether it's someone who is from the tech background, or if it is from a non-tech background, if he's someone who is currently pursuing their graduation, or are in some different field. If you want to get a transition, it is pretty much possible, right? So first and foremost thing, let me share my screen, and Narendra, do give me a thumbs up if my screen is shared. Is it now?
Yes.
Perfect. So, what Alma Better is, first and foremost thing is you need to know what Alma Better is. So, Alma Better is a platform that it drives the output thing. Whenever we study something, we always have this thing in mind that whatever we have studied, could this be used to earn money, to get ourselves a job, right? So, we are an output driven organization where we ensure that every student that are with us are getting nurtured well, right? And nurturing means you're not only studying about the topics, but you're also getting the right set of guidance, right set of mentorship, right? You're learning from each other. That is why our main focus is always in group learning, because when you do peer to peer learning, somehow you get to know the perspective of different people for the very same problem, right? Because a particular problem can have different solutions. Some of them would be complex solutions, some of them will definitely be having much simpler solutions. It's important to reach out those simpler solutions, because the more simpler solution you have, that means more you have understood that topic. That is why we study in groups here. And in that particular group, you will find people who are from arts background, humanities background, pharma background, law background, right? Obviously from technical background, some of them will be from BTech, BSc. So they all have their perspective towards that particular problem. You will also find people who are pretty much experienced, but they are from a different domain. They are from a marketing domain, they are doing something in law, they are doing something in humanities, and now they're trying to get themselves a transition in the data domain, right? Again, when you are studying things, you get projects, and if you're doing projects in team, you also get to know about number of solutions that you can get for that particular problem, and how well you can actually solve that. And once you start learning from different perspectives, obviously you have lot to say when you will be sitting in any of the interviews, or you're giving any kind of resume building or something like that happens. It only gives you a lot of confidence while you're doing all these things, and that is how you get ready for jobs. Just try to understand that if there is a person who's already working in the data field, he is also enrolled with us, he's also learning with us, and then he comes up with an idea that okay, we can do this particular project in this particular way. That helps the entire group. We all understand the way he has done the problem, or he's solving the problem. So that is how learning from the peers work out here at Alma Beta. So now the question arises that why I should go ahead with Alma Beta. What is the one thing that Alma Better provides that most of the I would say people who are on internet or YouTube, they can't provide. First and foremost thing, what I have seen, and whenever I speak to learner, I've seen one thing, that lot of stuffs that they have studies are actually not relevant enough in the industry. Someone will come up to me and say that I have invested like 5 hours in watching this video and I've learned this thing. But then I tell them that, okay, whatever you have learned is not of much use, because currently this particular topic is being taught across data domain. So it's important that you study relevant topics. That is why we have this 6 months of program where you end up studying relevant topics. You do not study anything more, you do not study anything less. We have tried to make it that certain that, okay, these are the topics that you need to focus on, and these are the time limits that is given to each and every topic, and in this particular time period you have to complete it. Best part is that you need not to have any such prerequisite to do our courses. Even if you're pretty much new in this domain, no worries, we will be teaching you everything from basic level, right? So even if you have this fear that, okay, coding is not for me, do not worry, we will be teaching you everything from scratch only. Now how we will be doing it, just like today's session that Siddharth took, it was a live class kind of a thing. It was a master class, all right, but it was kind of a live class thing where he was teaching certain topics, taking up your doubts, clarifying it. And that is how it happens in live classes. And all the instructors that we have out here at Alma Better, they're already working professionals, they know how things work, right? So recently, while we were on the ending part of this masterclass, someone asked that what is staff data scientist, right? So if you ask this to any of the professors or any of the teachers who are teaching data scientists, they will not be aware about what staff data scientist is. But if someone who is already working in this domain is teaching you, he will tell you that, okay, there is a difference between a data scientist, a lead data scientist, and a senior data scientist, and obviously a staff data scientist. Now you get an idea that, okay, there is a job role where you're actually managing a team, which is pretty much different from a senior data scientist role, or even a team lead data scientist, right? So these are some of the insights that you get when someone from the industry is teaching you, right? Even if you miss any of the live classes, you need not to worry, because you get the recorded classes as well of those live classes that has happened. Now again, if you're learning something, it's important that you practice it, because coding is more like practicing stuffs. The more you practice, the more better you become. That is why we have like 1,000+ coding problems, assessments, assignments that you are being given, so that you just keep on practicing, because it just makes you better and confident before you sit in any of the interviews. We have like 20+ capstone projects. Again, if you're learning something, it's important for you to understand that how we can use those things in real life problems, and that is why we give you capstone projects. You will have daily doubt resolution session. The timings will be 10:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. from Monday to Saturday. You can have this, right? And the best part is that you can directly connect to a subject matter experts and solve your doubts in real time, which is a huge thing. Let us assume that you missed any of the classes. Now you're watching the recorded lecture of that, and suddenly, came up with a doubt. Now at that point of time, what you can do is that you can directly go and reach out to a subject matter expert, and he will be solving the problem for you at that point of time only. So it not only motivates you to do better, but it also gives you that surety that, okay, even if I am doing anything which is not live, I will be getting the kind of support that I need to understand the particular topic. And again, you will have 1:1 mentorship sessions with the people who are already working in this industry. And then we will reach into the placement thing, where you will be having your mock interviews, where you will be having uh, your resume building sessions, your business communication classes. So multiple things, we will trying to cover up all the loopholes that is there to be covered before you go and sit in any of the real interviews, right? Again, if you've done all these things in a right manner, you have watched live classes, you have done the coding problems well, if you have done your capstone projects, I don't think so it's a difficult for you to get the job, in this particular domain. And with 700+ hiring partners that we have, we give you 100% job guarantee from our end at a minimum package of 5 lakhs per annum. Okay, these are the learning activities that happen. I've already discussed this. Live lectures are there, lab experiments, projects, guest lectures, community participation, capstone projects, competency challenges. All these things are being taken into consideration while you are with us for the 6 months, where we will be training you and we will be nurturing you so that you get the smoothest of the transition that is possible in this data domain. Okay, now a lot of students come up to us and say that, okay, you say that you have like 700+ companies that are hiring from us. So can you name some of them? Are these service based companies, product based companies, startups? So we have mix of all. Amazon is a huge company. It's a multinational company. Uber, again, it's a huge multinational company. I would say it was a startup once, but now it's a huge multinational company. Mintra, again, it's a product based company that it is growing every day in India. Then we have PwC, KPMG, obviously in the IT services. JP Morgan is there. Then we have Grow. If you're from the finance background and you want to get into finance only, data science, in data domain, you have companies from finance sector as well, right? So we have companies which are from different sectors that are ranging from IT services to banking, finance, and to e-commerce as well. So this is something which needs to be taken into consideration, that even if you're from a different background, you can switch in this particular domain, and even your experience will be counted, right? Because if you're working in any banking or finance company, right, and if you're getting a switch into data domain in data, as a data analyst or as a data scientist, obviously your banking experience will matter, right? Because you're transitioning from the very same domain to same domain. It's just that the job role has become different. Now this is very interesting, right? Salary distribution of alma mater graduates. Although we promise our learners that you will end up getting 5 lakhs per annum or above that when it comes to the job guarantee thing, but like 37% of the learners, they are in the range of 8 to 9 lakhs per annum, which is huge. That means out of every 3 student, there is a student who is getting a package that is ranging in between 8 to 9, right? And 8 to 9 means that it's a salary of around 70 to 75,000 per month, which is a very good start for someone who is starting their career in this particular field. What is even more encouraging is the fact that there are like 3% of the learners who end up earning more than 10 lakhs per annum, right? And that really means that you're earning like 1 lakh rupees per month. And for a fresher, or even for someone who is getting a transition from one domain to different domain, it's a very good deal. You get this kind of start, and you can, after 4 or 5 years, you might end up earning 2 or 3 times the amount that you have started, right? Because the demand is such in this particular industry. Okay, so this is something that really motivates our learners. You need to be highly dedicated, disciplined in these 6 months, and if you are, definitely a lot of good opportunities are waiting for you post the completion of the course. Some of the instructors out here, right? We have Rachit Jan, who is from BCG. Again, it's a multinational company, based completely over consultancy things. We have Sayande, who is from Walmart, Ravi Ranjan, Public Sapient. So we believe that teaching should be done from those who are already working in this field, right? They will teach you relevant stuff, and they will keep you updated about how things are going in this industry, right? Let us assume that you're learning something, but actually that is not being used in any of the companies. So learning that thing makes no sense, because in IT you have to keep on updating yourself. Because if you're not updating yourself, the time will come where you have to compete with your juniors, right, who are actually updated. So it's important that you should learn from those who are already working in this field for more than 5 years, and they know how things are going there. They will just guide you well enough so that you can get the transition that you're looking forward for. So these are our instructors and mentors that we have. All of them are from working professionals, and these are some of the success stories, right? They're even on our website. You can go to our LinkedIn page. You will find out these success stories where people got themselves transitioned from one domain to another domain. A lot of these students were freshers as well. They were doing BA, BCom, B Pharma, and they got into data domain, which is a huge thing, which I believe, if you're studying something and you're getting a transition despite being from a non-technical background, that shows the amount of hard work they have done, right? So if you are disciplined enough, if you're doing your hard work, definitely there are multiple opportunities that are waiting for you. I'm telling you a very interesting story, that there are a lot of job roles that has now become open for those people who have actually very good hands over chat gpt, right? It's just one of the AI tools, but if you know how to use it well, actually you can crack one of the job interviews in any of the companies, right? So that is the demand. So just imagine that if you know all the skill sets that is required in this industry, how much earning you will be making by the time you're ending your course, right? So first of all, let me just walk you through the student dashboard part, and before that, just let me take any of the questions if we have out here. Do we have from the very same day, Anjali? There's no such duration that at what time you will start getting your uh, recording. Let us assume that you completed a live class, and after some hours, you will start getting the recorded classes as well. Yes, a certification or participation would be provided for today's masterclass. So let me just go through how the dashboard looks like once you enroll with us. So this is how the dashboard basically looks like, right? But before that, it's important that you understand one thing, that what are the topics that you will gonna be learning, right? So again, with every topic, what we have done is that we have also included chat gpt and other ai tools, so that you do get hands-on experience of all these tools, right? If you start with computer programming, we do have github, which is again a ai tool that we are having. Again, if you're doing something writing algorithms, we will tell you how you can do it, chat gpt, which is in itself is a huge thing. Then if you're going for front end or back end development, what are the things that you can be doing when it comes to front end back end thing with the help of ai tools, that is also being included. Then we have data visualization tools, like you will have ms excel, you will have power bi, you will have sql, and how it can be done using chat gpt, that is also being taught. So if you see that we have like 6 modules, and in every module you will be learning some ai tool, which is a very good thing. If you're getting that exposure, you will practice it well, and you will become, I would say, a pro kind of a thing while you will be giving interview. So you might end up impressing the ones who are taking your interview, because you have that kind of hands-on experience over these ai tools. And other than that, obviously, machine learning thing that was being discussed today by Siddha, the supervised machine learning, the unsupervised machine learning thing, all those things are being covered here only, right? So once you enroll with us, this is how the homepage basically looks like, right? So you can go to the learn part, right? And you can click on continue learning thing, and you will say that, okay, these are the topics that are currently being taught. Okay, I'm already a student of alma better here, so majority of the topic is being completed. But this is how we start. You get a model overview, then we have learning objectives, and then we start with the videos and the practice things that is being given, right? So there are topics, subtopics, and obviously lot of quizzes, assignments, codings that are being given, that is being followed by project as well, right? So this was about module 1. Then we have module 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and last module is obviously for career guidance. So let us assume that you are doing module 3 out here. So you get an overview of, then basics of those overview modules, then a lot of topics, subtopics, quizzes, assignments, assessments, all of these are being given, and then you end up by doing a project here as well, right? So it is pretty much mandatory to learn something, revise it, practice it, do the project, and finish that particular topic, and move ahead. And then in the final module, basically once you complete all your studies in this 6 month, then we work upon your career guidance, where we work on building your resume. We also discuss about the strategies that you can do to crack your interviews. And again, then we will start working over the mock interviews part. What are the things that could be asked in an interview, and how you have to actually answer those questions or skip those questions. All of these things are being taught in this uh, career guidance thing that happens obviously after 6 months of training that you do with us. A lot of things have been taken into picture while you will be getting prepared for interviews. A lot of mock interview training, a lot of sessions for career guidance, business communication classes, all of these do happen here at alma better. Thousands of questions that you get to practice, and you can find out here in practice thing. You get coding problems, you get coding assessments, you get quiz assessments. A lot of things are waiting for you. You can just practice them well, and can actually learn a lot more stuffs while you are doing all these questions, right? It will just help you understand the topic well enough. Some of the projects, as I already told you, that after every module you will have a project that you need to finish, right? And we have like 20 plus capstone projects with us, out of which 4 to 5 is something that is mandatory out here that you have to do. And it is from all the modules, from python, from machine learning, from the visualization tools. Everything is being taken care only there. And career thing I've already discussed, that how you will be doing it. Mentorship, that how you can book a mentor. You can directly go to mentorship option out here. You can click on book now. You can choose whatever guidance you need. If you need some guidance in interview, job search counseling, resume guidance, academic counseling, project guidance, you can just click on that, click on next, add your date and time preference. Kindly do it a week prior, so that we can also check the availability of the instructor, sorry, the mentor part. And once you have done that, you're ready to go for a mentorship session. You will get like 5 mentorship sessions in this 6 months of program that you have, right? So you can use them. to get that extra counseling if you require, to get that extra guidance if you require, other than the studies that you're doing. This is how basically the classroom looks like. So this is the schedule of the upcoming classes that are coming up. So we have supervised model class that will be on 6th of November, 8th of November. So you will have a schedule which you have to follow. And if you have completed the class, look, there is an option of view recording as well. So even if you have missed any of the classes, just click on view recording and you will be in the live class only. And you can just revise that concept again and again and again, because this stays with you, the recording part, that is mighty helpful when you're doing the revision part, right? So again, if you want to have certain notes, that is also being given here, if there are any in that particular topic, that is being attached. Otherwise, you can watch the recording lecture, and rest of the things are already available on the dashboard. Okay, now there is something which is going crazy out here at Alma Better, right? So it is something that will go till Diwali, right? So there is a refer and earn program that we are having out here at Alma Better. But before that, let me just tell you, understand about the live support thing that I was talking about, right? So there is an option of live support out here. If you go on the bottommost right option, you will get the live support option, clicking on help, and you will directly reach to these tables, right, that are active from Monday to Saturday in between 10:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. What you can do is that if you have any doubts regarding the data science, you can just grab a table out here. One of our subject matter expert will come up and they will have a one-on-one discussion with you. Then again, if you want to have any discussion regarding the web development, again, that is also an option there. Again, for data science web development, there is one more chair that is available there. And if all of these chairs are booked, if all of these tables are booked, you can also wait here. And once the table is vacant, you can directly go there and ask your doubt, right? So this is how the live support actually works. And final thing is that, so that was telling you about this, the AI chat thing, right? We have actually included the ChatGPT kind of a model out here, where you only have to give the prompt and the solution will be there in front of you. So let us assume that I just want to write a code. So write a program where I can add two numbers. Let me say write a Python program where I can add two numbers. I've just given this prompt to this particular tool, and bang, we have got the output for this as well, right? That you have to enter the first number, the second number, and then some will be like this and this. So look, even if you know how to give right prompt, right, to this chat gpt tool, it will come up with the answer that you're looking forward to. So even if you're doing any of the problems, even if your mind is thinking about how I can write this particular program, just go and type here, right, and you will end up getting the result. So that is a huge thing that you will have. It's like a 24/7 kind of an application that you have with you, where you can actually get solutions to the problems that you have right now. Okay, now, coming to the referendum part, right? So we have like three programs with us. There is the master's program, then there is a certification program, both in data science as well as in web development, right? And in that we have like IT Guwahati program, and then we have the premium program out here at Alma Better. So if you have any of the friend, right, who is interested in doing masters in computer science that we are doing from IIT Guwahati and Wolf University, and if you're referring them, you get like 30,000 rupees cash reward in your wallet. And your friend, when he will be enrolling with us, will get 10,000 rupees discount on that particular enrollment, right? If you want to go for the IIT Guwahati program that we have, so we have like 6,000 rupees cash reward if you're referring someone for the IT Guwahati thing, and 3,000 discount will be directly given to the learner who is actually using your invite link. And invite link has already been shared here. And if you're looking for a premium program, that is a certification from Alma Better, you get 3,000 rupees straight away. If you refer someone, and if that particular person is enrolling, he gets 1,500 discount on that particular enrollment. So this is a very big, or I can say a huge thing that is going on here for the refer and earn thing. And you can earn up to like 2 lakh rupees just by referring people, right? If you have people who are interested in masters, at one go you can get 30,000. If you have people from iconic plan, you get 6,000. And if you're people from premium plan, you have like 3,000 rupees that you will be earning. So this is how the fee structure for the iconic and the premium looks like. There is a very small difference between both of them, right? So if you're looking forward for normal certification from Alma Better, right, so you will have to pay 30,000
Manjul, there is a little glitch. Don't worry, guys. Manjul will be there. Yeah.
Yes, Narendra, you're saying something?
No, no. I'm saying that like network issue is there. Like he will be back. Yeah.
Okay, everything is fine.
Yeah. Now everything is fine.
Perfect. So I think I've covered most of the parts. Now, if there are any questions in the chat box, I can just answer them, and then we can wrap this up. Uh, okay, Dell. So I've already told this thing like multiple times in this particular session that even if you're from a non-technical background, that doesn't matter a lot, right? If you're doing things in the right way, and if you are, disciplined enough, dedicated enough to, give your time to this particular course that is of 6 months, I don't think so that there will be a lot of problem coming up if you're looking forward for the transition. It is Mohidduin, if I'm pronouncing your name right. It is possible, it doesn't matter that how good you are in certain things. It's important that how much hard work you will be putting to get improvement, right? So if you are not very good when it comes to mathematics or the programming part, doesn't matter, because I told you that we will be teaching everything to you from scratch, right? So again, you need not to worry a lot about this. It's okay, Sujit. When you will be in your third week, from there on only we start giving business communication classes to our learners, right? So that means that you will be getting that exposure to English, right? So communicating in English might be weak, but if you're able to understand English, sooner or later you will also start communicating in English, because you will have those business communication classes that will be happening on Tuesdays, third week from the point of time you start your program. So you do not to worry about that. Range Gavada. No, there is no such compulsion that you should have understanding in any of the coding languages. Even if you don't, it's okay. We will be teaching you everything from scratch only. There are only three basic differences. Sandeep, I'm just sharing my screen again. So the three basic differences is that the certification that you will get will be from IIT Guwahati. Okay, and again it will be backed by Ministry of Information and Electronics thing and technology, and you will get guest lectures from IIT Guwahati faculty as well. And again, post the completion of the program, you can also visit to IIT Guwahati for 2 days. If you want to go there, you can definitely go there. And since you will have the certification from IIT Guwahati, no one will gonna question you that why you are here, and which whose permission you have taken. So yeah, and obviously you get the dual certification that is from Alma Better plus IIT Guwahati. So this is the basic difference that it is. Rest everything remains the same as it is in the normal certification. Shushan, for premium it's 30,000, and for iconic, that means for IIT Guwahati it is 60,000. Depends that what is the career gap that you have, the number of years, right? Because what I believe is that, or what I have seen is that the career gap is not something that is pretty much problem. If you complete the course, opportunities are waiting for you. Rajnikant, you have to complete all your projects, right? You have to give all the tests, and also there is a final AB CAT test that we take here, for which you have to, score 70% of the marks that you have to do, and these are the only terms and conditions that is required to get a guaranteed job from Alma Better. I already answered this, Gaurav. You get a certification from IIT, you get guest lectures from there, and also you get the immersion program from there. So there is no such major difference in between normal certification and IIT Guwahati certification. But again, having an IIT tag itself, gives a lot more value to that particular certification. Already told you this, Mohiddin. We can directly go to the live support lounge that we have here, right? And I can just show you that again, that if you have any problem and how will you will be solving it, you can directly go to the live support thing. You can click on help here, go to live support, and from here on you can clarify your doubts as well. So you need not to worry about how your doubts will be catered, and other than that, you will have like mentorship sessions as well. Teachers will be from the people who are already working in this domain only, right? So they can be from Flipkart, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple. I already showed you the list of instructors that we have out here. No worries, Sushant. Even if you're a site engineer and you cannot manage times, manage time. I already told you that you will have recorded lectures, and if you have any problem, obviously you can go and use our live lounge support that is out there. So you need not to worry. And if you're looking forward to get that transition, obviously I think everything is manageable if you're doing it in the right way. After placement for a premium program, it is 2,40,000, and for the IT Guwahati certification, it is 1,50,000. No, I'm not. Yes, there will be. Both the tags will be there, Rajnikant. It is already included in the syllabus. So you need not to learn it in prior. It's already there in the syllabus. Do we have anything in Q&A? Not really. Ankush, the amount of things that we offer justifies the price that we have, right? So again, I already told you the reference program that we have. You can earn a lot from there as well, right? And Alma Better always believes in providing you the quality. We never ever compromise there, right? So the prices that is being uh, shown on the website are pretty much. I think it's a good opportunity, because if you get a job guarantee, if you start earning, obviously it's not a big deal to pay this particular amount. No worries, you can get a switch in the banking sector only if you want to get. If you not, then obviously there are multiple sectors waiting for you. Yeah, Rajnikant, I can show you the certification. It's there on website as well. I'm just sharing the link for the website as well. So this is how the certification looks like. Just give me a moment. So this is how the normal certification looks like. It's a course completion certification from Alma Beta, Megha Agrawal, full stack data science. And this is how the IT Guwahati certification looks like. Supported by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and in Institute of Technology Guwahati, certification of completion for the artificial intelligence in full stack data science. Advanced certification. So this is how the certifications look like. Yes, you can take admission, Utkarsh. There is no such prerequisite that you need to follow. No, not really, Rajnikant. If you have any doubts regarding anything, I am just providing my contact number along with my email ID, and you can reach out to us, right? I will be more than happy to assist you when it comes to the admissions part out here at Alma Beta, right? I can't see much of the questions coming up. Most of the things are pretty much cleared. Narendra, is there anything that you want to add from your end, or should we just end the session?
There are only few questions in Q&A. Okay.
Are there any?
Yeah, I'll tell those questions. Like, is there any discount while enrolling? One question from Ashish.
Okay. Do we have any coupon code right now with us, Naren, that we can share with the learners who are there in this particular masterclass for 15%?
Learn 15.
10%?
Learn
Okay, you can
15.
just type it in here. So all those learners who have stayed with us till now and are asking for certain discount, we can help them with those with that particular discount that is valid for next 12 hours. So just type in that code, and all of you can use that particular code to get 15% discount over our courses as well.
Avinash R, you can call to Manjul mobile number for any queries. We'll answer your call.
I've already pinged it there, so you guys can directly, ping me or mail me. I will be more than happy to assist you. And you can have this coupon code learning working for you, 15% discount you will be getting out here on both our courses of IIT Guwahati as well as the Alma Better certification course.
When will I start sitting into placements after 6 months or 9 months? Siddharth Singh is asking.
So after 6 months, you will be started getting nurtured in that particular way, right? Because most of the topics would be covered by fourth or fifth month. Final topic is of machine learning that takes around 1.5 months, and after that, we will start with the career services thing.
So she's asking, I completed my BCA in year 2016. Now I'm doing a non-IT job. Can I take
Mhm.
a question?
Obviously, you can. There's no such obligations out there. You're already working, right? And I think Utkarsh, you already asked me in the chat section that you're from banking sector only. So yeah, you can proceed ahead and do this particular program. You will get the transition that you're looking forward to.
So he's also asking, my English is very weak. Can I take admissions? Yes,
It's all
you.
right. Till the time you're understanding English, there is not a big problem. We have business communication classes as well on every Tuesdays from third week onwards from the day you take your admission. So obviously that is not something that should stop you taking admission and changing your domain.
Why the fee is more of 30K is more? Like,
I still believe the offerings that we provide, the fees is pretty less as compared to the market price, right? Because you're getting relevant curriculum, you're getting AI tools that you will be learning, you are getting people who are teaching you from the industry only, you're getting business communication classes, you're getting capstone projects, quizzes, assignments, assessments. Live support is there. We have already given you a ChatGPT AI tool which stays with you for like 24/7, from which you can solve your problems. You have mentorship sessions. So there are like many things that are there. So I believe fees is pretty much justified with the quality of education that we provide here. And the best part is that we guarantee the placement thing that most of the people don't, right? So I don't think so. Fees is something that you should really keep in mind, right? There is no point investing a less amount in some places where you do not get the output. It's always that you should focus on the quality and the offerings that is being provided, right? Because end of the day, the only thing that matters is job in your hand, right? So I think the price is pretty much justifiable. Any other question, Narendra, or is it done?
yeah, like only this question is. So the course, there are different things like one we are providing with IIT, and
Mhm.
yeah, like you can take any of the course. Siddharth.
Siddharth Singh has a question that why is there a huge difference in the fee structure of both the courses? Because the second one is from IIT Guwahati, right? That is a huge name, not only in our country but worldwide, right? IIT is being taken as a name with utmost respect, even if you're in Europe or in USA. So again, the organization, the institute name that comes up in that particular certification gives your certification much more value, not only in India but globally as well. So obviously there will be a difference in the fees. And again, you will be getting lectures from some of the professors from IIT Guwahati, right? So if they're taking out your time and then they're sitting with you for a couple of hours, that itself comes up with certain cost, certain value. All right, Narendra, I think we have answered the majority of the questions. Thank you so much, everyone who has been patient till now. And we do come up with these master classes every Saturday. So if you are interested in learning new technologies that are coming around, and if you're looking forward to get a transition in this particular field, please do come and join these master classes. If you have your friends, relatives, anyone whom you know who want to get into data science, do ping them also, do get them into this session. They will get some clarity about how things are going on and what are the opportunities waiting for you. So thank you so much for your time, Narendra. Just giving it to you. Just take it forward, and we'll be meeting again next Saturday with something new that will give a lot more insights about how this domain is working. Thank you so much, team.
Yeah. Thank you, Manjul. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's masterclass event. I hope you all liked this event, and bye bye.